Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're unpacking a story that seriously has all the makings of a Hollywood blockbuster. But the crazy part? Every single detail is entirely real. We're diving deep into the ultimate Silicon Valley thriller. This is a story of unprecedented corporate warfare, absolutely brilliant minds, mass rebellions, and a cutthroat race to build a technology that is fundamentally changing what it means to be human. If you really want to understand the hidden forces shaping our global future right now, This Explainer is going to connect all the dots for you. Okay, let's just dive right into this. $100 billion. I mean, let that number sink in for a second. This isn't some corporate valuation built up over a decade. No, this is what Google, the undisputed king of the internet, lost in a single day. Why? Well, because they panicked, pure and simple. Terrified by a brand new competitor, Google completely rushed out their own AI chatbot, Bard. And during a live demo, the bot actually gave a factually incorrect answer. The market saw Google bleeding, and boom, $100 billion just vanished into thin air. It was a massive mistake born out of pure desperation. And that unprecedented panic was caused by a brand new platform you've definitely heard of, ChatGPT. In just 5 days, it grabbed 1 million users. In 2 months, 100 million. To put that into perspective, it took Instagram 2.5 years to hit that milestone. TikTok took 9 months. ChatGPT absolutely crushed those records. And the architects behind this total revolution? A company called OpenAI and its visionary CEO, Sam Altman. Section 1, the $100 billion mistake, the shot heard around the tech world. Section 2, the quest for thinking machines, from sci-fi to silicon. You know, this dream of thinking machines actually has really deep, fascinating roots. Back in 1950, Alan Turing, the tragic genius who cracked Germany's Enigma code and literally helped end World War II early, asked a totally revolutionary question. Can machines think? He devised the Turing test, basically saying that if a human couldn't tell they were talking to a machine, well, the machine was intelligent. Fast forward to 1956, and scientists at Dartmouth officially coined the term artificial intelligence. And they were pretty arrogant about it, too. They actually thought they could crack human-level AI in just 2 months. Obviously, that didn't happen. What followed were decades of stalled funding, an era known as the AI winter. And look, even when IBM's Deep Blue beat the chess champion Garry Kasparov in 1997, researchers knew it wasn't true thinking. It was just rapid-fire, brute force calculation. The true spark of intelligence, it was still totally elusive. Enter this kid, Sam Altman. Born in Chicago in 1985, he was practically wired differently from birth. By age 3, he understood area codes. By 3rd grade, he was literally fixing the broken school computers. When he got a Mac for his 8th birthday, he started coding in BASIC. But he was frustrated, right? He didn't just want computers to follow rigid instructions. He wanted them to actually think. Like a lot of tech legends, he dropped out of Stanford, built an early location-sharing app called Looped, secured $5 million in funding at just 19 years old, and eventually sold it. His insane drive caught the eye of Silicon Valley legend Paul Graham. Graham made Sam the president of the incredibly powerful startup accelerator Y Combinator. In fact, Graham famously noted that if you dropped Sam onto an island of cannibals, he'd be king of the island in 5 years. Section 3. Building the Google Resistance. The Rosewood Dinner. So in 2014, a $650 million check basically changed everything. Google bought this obscure but absolutely brilliant London AI lab called DeepMind. It was run by a former chess prodigy and a researcher whose PhD was literally on machine superintelligence. When Altman read this news, he was terrified, absolutely terrified. The idea that a single corporation, one that already controlled so much of the world's information, might hold a monopoly on superintelligent machines, that literally kept him up at night. By early 2015, Sam was out there writing public blog posts, warning that superhuman AI could be the greatest threat to human existence. He knew he couldn't just write about it anymore. He had to do something. He envisioned a Manhattan project for AI. Over the summer of 2015, at a super private dinner at the Rosewood Hotel in Menlo Park, Altman sat down with Elon Musk, top AI researcher Ilya Sutskever, and engineer Greg Brockman. Right there, they conceived an audacious plan. Build a non-profit lab meant specifically to counter Google, a lab dedicated not to corporate profits, but to the benefit of all humanity. They officially launched OpenAI in December 2015, literally starting in Brockman's apartment living room, armed with a massive $1 billion financial commitment to take on the Goliath. Section 4. The Spark of Generative AI. Speed, Scale, and Transformers. Okay, so the technological turning point happened in 3 steps. First, in 2016, Google's AlphaGo beat a world champion at Go, incredibly complex board game. But the crazy part wasn't just that it won. During what they call Move 37, the AI made a strategy so alien, so deeply creative, that human experts actually thought it was a computer glitch, until they realized its sheer genius. Machines could now create. Then, an OpenAI researcher named Alec Radford trained an AI on millions of Amazon reviews. Surprisingly, the model began to inherently understand positive and negative sentiment all on its own. But the ultimate irony here? The massive breakthrough key came from Google itself. In 2017, Google researchers published the Transformer paper. This was a technology that allowed AI to process whole sentences and context at once instead of word by word. Google literally handed OpenAI the exact blueprint they needed to build their empire. That exact blueprint gave birth to GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It reads vast amounts of internet text and learns to predict and generate brand new sentences on its own. But to actually build this, OpenAI needed a ridiculous amount of computing power. After Elon Musk left the board in 2018 following a failed takeover attempt, Altman made a huge pivot. He partnered with Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella for $1 billion in computing power. Fast forward to late 2022. The AI was brilliant, sure, but it was really clunky to use. OpenAI's CTO, Miara Murati, noticed that during tests, people really loved interacting with just a simple chat interface. So, on November 30th, 2022, they basically slapped a clean text box onto their model and launched ChatGPT. The immediate aftermath of that launch was totally explosive. As ChatGPT went virally nuclear, Google declared a complete code red. They rushed out their flawed Bard model, taking that catastrophic $100 billion market hit we talked about right at the start. Meanwhile, Microsoft, who is now heavily backing OpenAI, was absolutely gloating. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella publicly stated, "We made them dance." It was a massive tectonic shift in Silicon Valley's power dynamics. Section 5, the Great Boardroom Coup, 5 days that shook the valley. What followed next was sheer ruthlessness. Internally, OpenAI's safety board started feeling like Sam wasn't being fully transparent about safety protocols and how fast they were rolling out the AI. So chief scientist Ilya Sutskever sent the board a disappearing PDF detailing Sam's alleged missteps. On November 17, 2023, while Sam was casually watching a Formula One race in Las Vegas, he got a sudden notification to join a video call. On that call, Ilya just read from a prepared script, "Sam, you are being fired." And then they literally just hung up. The CEO of Airbnb later described it perfectly. He said it was like a murder without a body. No warning, no transition, just gone. What followed was absolute whiplash. 5 days that shook Silicon Valley to its absolute core. Sam Altman's house immediately transformed into this chaotic, buzzing war room. Senior employees rushed over, strategies were rapidly mapped out, and the entire tech world collectively held its breath, just watching to see if OpenAI would even survive the week. Ultimately, the board's coup failed because of one staggering reality. Over 750 of OpenAI's 770 employees signed a letter threatening to immediately quit and join Microsoft if Sam wasn't reinstated. That's almost the entire company. And the most shocking signature on that letter? Ilya Sutskever himself, who actually publicly tweeted his deep regret for his role in the firing. Faced with the complete collapse of the company, the board surrendered. Sam Altman returned in triumph. Inside the company today, they simply refer to those chaotic 5 days as the blip. Section 6, the AI arms race, the trillion-dollar battlefield. So as we look at the landscape up to 2026, the battlefield is vicious. OpenAI is an absolute behemoth with 900 million weekly users and valuations deep into the tens of billions. Yet paradoxically, they are burning through billions in compute costs just to train these massive models. And the competition? It is fiercer than ever. You have Anthropic, incredibly powerful rival literally founded by defectors from OpenAI. You have China's DeepSeek, who proved they could build highly capable AI so cheaply that it actually crashed NVIDIA's stock for a day. And the sleeping giant awoke. Google's resurgent Gemini 3 began beating ChatGPT in key metrics. The king is constantly under siege right now. And the crucial takeaway from all of this is the core thematic duality that's tearing the AI community apart. It comes down to safety versus speed. Ilya Sutskever actually left OpenAI to start a company entirely focused on safe AI. Elon Musk went so far as to sue OpenAI, claiming they totally abandoned their original nonprofit mission just to become a de facto Microsoft subsidiary. Meanwhile, facing relentless rivals from every direction, Sam Altman has mandated a ruthless, razor-sharp focus on one thing:
speed. Improve the models, launch faster, and survive the competition at all costs.
Which really brings us right back to where we started. That 8-year-old kid in Chicago sitting in front of a Mac computer dreaming of the day a machine would be able to think for itself. Well, his dream is now our reality. The machines are talking, they are creating, they are reasoning. The trillion-dollar corporate wars have already been fought to bring them to life. So I want to leave you with this profound question to think about. Now that machines can think and talk, what happens to humanity next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.